The Military Academy incident, also known as the November incident, was an attempted coup d'état that took place in Japan in November 1934. It was one of a sequence of similar conspiracies for a Shōwa Restoration, led by radical elements with the Imperial Japanese Army. Background and history. The failed coup attempts in 1931 by the Sakurai, a secret society within the junior ranks of the Imperial Japanese Army officer corps, promoting a vision of a militaristic totalitarian state socialist system as an alternative to the current corrupt party politics-dominated democratic government, inspired similar plans by other groups within the military. In 1934, a group of 5 Imperial Japanese Army Academy cadets led by 2 army officers belonging to the radical militarist Imperial Way faction at the Academy, troubled by the perceived loss of influence of the faction over the military following the dismissal of Army Minister Sadao Araki in January 1934, formulated their own plan for overthrowing the government. However, in early November 1934, Sato, one of the cadets, informed the government authorities about the plan and its Imperial Way faction involvement. Forewarned, Captain Tsuji Masanobu, company commander at the Army Academy, arranged the arrest of the principals by the Kempeitai on the 20th of November 1934, ending the possible coup d'état before it could even get started. For lack of evidence, the accused could not be convicted, but the 5 cadets were expelled from the academy in March 1935, and the 2 officers, Muranaka and Isabe, were suspended for 6 months from duty in April 1935. When the suspended officers Muranaka and Isabe later distributed pamphlets entitled Remonstrance for the Restoration of Military Discipline, they were dismissed from the service outright in August 1935. The Aizawa incident. The Imperial Way faction believed that Sato had been acting as a spy for Captain Tsuji all along, and that the whole affair was a trap laid by the rivals, the Tokugawa faction, to discredit General Jinzaburo Masaki, the Inspector General of Military Education, as the incident led to General Masaki's dismissal. In retaliation, in what came to be known as the Aizawa incident, an Imperial Way faction officer, Lieutenant Colonel Saburo Aizawa, assassinated Masaki's successor, Tokugawa faction Major General Tetsuzan Nagata, on the 12th of August 1935, cutting him down with his sword in his office. Nagata was posthumously promoted to Lieutenant General, and Aizawa was shot by a firing squad after a court-martial held by the IJA 1st Division based in Tokyo. Army Minister Sanjuro Hayashi was also forced to resign over the affair. Consequences. The Military Academy incident and the Aizawa incident were indicative of the increasing politicization and political polarization of the Japanese military, and an increasing tendency to resolve political differences through force. The lack of action within the military leadership to suppress these tendencies, and the powerlessness of the civilian elected government over the military were contributing factors that led to the subsequent February 26 incident.